All right, so we're all streaming. Welcome back to How Did I Get Here? This is the show we have every week of, just basically for anybody, but kind of focused on sales, sales department, sales management, where once a month, once a quarter, you go, how did I get here, right? And that can happen two different ways. That could be how did I get here? Good because it was a great month, but not sure how it got to be a great month. And it could be how did I get here? It was a bad month, and I thought I had all this stuff happening. So, to get started today, we've got a guy here from Lafredo Fresh Foods, Marco Holder. And Marco and I have known each other for how long? How long you been there?
7 years.
7 years. So he's been with.
Quick 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's flown by.
Right. Right. And yeah, and Marco came on board 7 years ago, and quickly, Marco, you weren't originally in the food business.
Yeah, I was in the food business on the restaurant side. So I was an operator. I worked for Red Lobster for 18 years. Did
Got
a
it.
few restaurants before that. So, yeah, I had not been in the sales side of it. So, you've paved me the way to be successful in the Stanley training. So it's been good. So
Well, yeah.
no
So
nasty, no nasty habits.
So interesting what Marco sells because it really has a lot to do with seasons and has a lot to do with what's happening. Where some of us might have recession-proof businesses, Marco might have a recession-proof business, but he also has a business that depends on what's the weather and everything else. They basically sell to restaurants that you eat food in. And as Marco said, he wasn't a salesperson when he came on 7 years ago. Uh, Learning sales, but knew the food business, knew what restaurants cooked and everything. So, um, first of all, what made you decide, hey, I'm going to get into sales?
Yeah, quality of life and family time. I had a huge passion for the restaurant business, and I still do, and it's still in the core of my being. And once in a while, people are like, "Do you wish you were still in it?" I said maybe about 10% of the time. I'm still in it. I still get to deal with chefs. I talk to them every day, find out their problems, see what's going on in that relationship side that I still did with my that I used to do with my employees. So I still get that gratification, them being successful and helping them out. So, but getting out of it, was really, I wanted some better family time and better family life. So I work, work life balance right now has been phenomenal. So for the last 7 years.
It's interesting because, and I think that's so true. People that don't work in the restaurant business don't understand. It's a 80, 90-hour work week. You got no weekends. But we talk about salespeople that complain all the time that we work 12 hours a day. Well, Mark will choose to get into sales so he could have more time with his family. Because I mean that's a great point that if you're a good salesperson, you're efficient, you got well planned, you can make time for your family. But if you're always shooting from the hip, wondering what's happened next and nothing going on, you might not have time for your family. So that makes a huge difference. So in Marco, we talk in this session here about tips, tricks, blunders. So if you can think back to maybe one of the big blunders you had or in sales where something just kind of didn't go right or didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, what would one of those be?
The first time I ever got kicked out of a kitchen. And I was about 6 months into the business, loving life. I'm like, hey, I can have a happy hour. I can meet my friends. I get done at 5. And then I happened to go into a restaurant around 10:30 in the morning, and then Harry Becker was there and asked me what the hell I was doing in this restaurant at 10:30 in the morning, and to get out and don't ever come back in here again. You'll never sell us another thing.
Wow.
Like, oh my God, really? And this is who I'm going to have to deal with? As I didn't have to. I mean, I had customers were tough to deal with, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be an ongoing relationship with this young gentleman, and I'm not sure how this is going to happen. And I went home that day, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this again. I don't
Yeah.
know if I can do it again at all. I'm like, you know what? I picked the wrong business. Maybe I can just start looking at restaurants again. This is not for me. And then after, sitting there for a little while and figuring out, went up that afternoon and started prospecting. Said I just need to get out of my own head. Pulled my collar, got into a couple of restaurants, met some fun, nice people that are still customers today. And glad I did it. And but man, I was at that point of like just a breaking point of why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And realized, 2% of the time that's going to happen. And I just had to, had to get through it, get over it, and then move on. And getting into the calling part of the business was really not that hard because I would be out talking to guests and just introducing myself all the time. So it really prepared me for getting out there and doing what you have to do, and then by following through and being able to get a close sale.
Yeah, it's that's tough. That's when you're kicked out or hung up on, someone telling you don't ever call me again or whatever. That, I mean, it can be a devastating day. It could be a devastating week or a month, right?
It can be.
Yeah, but you got to pull yourself back up and just say, go knock on another door. Because, one of the things I thought when I had a young kid working for me, and he'd make calls, and he would get someone hang up on, don't ever call me again, and slam the phone down on him. One of the things I told him is, just so you understand, it's good that he did that. And he'd say, why is that? And I go, because we found out this is not somebody we want to do business with. We do not want to do business with somebody that treats other people like that. I don't care how big they are. They won't survive. If they're in a big corporation, it probably won't survive too long, right? Stay in touch. But a couple other things. We might have caught him on a bad day, might go back in there. But biggest thing, if someone treats you like that, that's probably not someone that's going to be a good fit for you anyways, right? So go find somebody else.
I found that training now with new salespeople that, 3 months down the road, if that person, that's the way he's going to act, and you talk to him probably a couple of times, you're not going to go there, you're not going to sell the deal. But 3 months down the road, to 6 months down the road, that person will not be there. About 90% guarantee that they'll be gone.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to put up with somebody like that for very long.
Yeah, they don't stay in if they're that way, that's their natural thing. They're not going to stay there very long. And plus there's plenty of other prospects you can go call on and talk to in the meantime. So you don't have to belabor that one, right? So
Right.
interesting. So, I mean, you came out of the gate, 7 years ago, and I could be wrong, but I think you got pretty successful pretty quick.
I did.
So what do you think led to your success? What's the thing you did, or what tips can you give a salesperson today?
Coming out of the restaurant business, I wasn't used to working, 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week. I didn't have to do that here, but it was just persistence and relationship building and relatability. Relatability was pretty huge. Even if you did come from out of the business, relating them to them on a level that you understand their business and you get their business, and how you can, talk with them about it and listen. Was probably my biggest thing, and being able to follow through and actually, somebody called me, I would, answer my phone or answer the text. And I still do that today, and I may get some after hours calls or texts. It's not very often, but I still answer them. So people know that I will be there and I'll take care of it. And never make excuses for any mistake that I've made. I didn't enter your order in for tomorrow. I'm supposed to be there at 6 a.m. That was my fault. I made a million mistakes. I almost got fired when I was in New Orleans a month ago. So I needed the steaks for the weekend. I put the wrong date on it. I was wrong. He fired me. I was done.
Oh, wow.
He was so mad, so angry. I was calling my father-in-law here in Des Moines. Can you run to Sam's Club and get some fillets for me? Anything we could do. And he's like, just forget it. We're done.
Oh, wow.
3 days later, we had a conversation. He goes, all right, I've calmed down. He goes, you've got a great product. You do a great job. You made a mistake. I get it. So we're back in business.
Wow. Well,
I was just completely honest with him, and like, I screwed up. My fault. I did it. And I would take care of you if I wasn't, 700 miles away on vacation. Just
let me do something.
Yeah.
And you bring up a great point. I think that a lot of salespeople, and a lot of all of us, I think the successful people in life take personal responsibility for what's going on, as opposed to shoving it off and it's somebody else's fault or I didn't know. immediately taking that blame and say, hey, you know what, I messed up, I made a mistake, and let me see if I can solve it. But as opposed to maybe ignoring it or not looking at it and hoping it goes away. I think one of the first things we got to do is, and we talk about with salespeople all the time, personal responsibility. I mean, when you get done with a sales call, what could I have done different? Someone hung up on me. What should I have done different to make a different outcome? The sales call didn't go right. Well, what did I do wrong? And I think always introspective is how we grow. And I don't know, do you do some of that? Do you do looking back after a sales call?
But every single time, wondering what I could have done different, even if it was good or bad, or what did I forget? What did I not talk to them about? This morning, I closed an account yesterday. It's a restaurant I've been working on for probably about 60 days. Finally, got him, sat down next to him and had him fill out the credit application. I said, okay, let's get this done. So, he was very open. He's like, yeah, I pushed it off way too long. I said, okay, let's just do it together. I know it's, take 10 minutes. It didn't really only took 10 minutes. But this morning, there's a program that I wanted to talk to him about. And I'm like, I didn't talk to him about that. There's another kind of a hook that would have, helped to entice, his, make his choice apparent that it was, it's a good choice. So yeah, I'll go back, but just reflecting it, overnight, next morning. So I've got notes in here that, this morning already, I'm journaling to find out, what do I need to get done? What's my priority this morning? And here's my goal.
Wow. Wow. So 7 years ago, you came on, haven't been in sales, and you started learning Sandler. What, and you're pretty adept at it. I mean, I hear you do role plays with some of your other salespeople when I come and meet with your sales team. What, if you can think of anything, was it just because, hey, I'm just taking it makes sense, or what made you gravitate towards Sandler and get so good at it?
I take my experience back from being with Dart in restaurants, a huge corporation. A lot of it was, doing the right thing, asking a lot of the same right questions. And I'd have to do that with employees that would have concerns. And it adapted. It made sense to me to be able to go through a pain funnel, but do it in a way that people understand and you're still real and you're not monotone and doing a 30-second commercial that, could get them to either say yes or no, but having a genuine conversation with somebody, not seeming robotic and pushy, and not being so emotional about needing to get the sale. I just really want to be intellectual in my thinking and what I can do right to either, back then was, make sure an employee was happy and successful and doing the things that they needed to do. And Sandler taught me the same types of things, so I was able to just kind of make that change by following the processes.
Got it. Yeah, it gives you the tools. I mean, if you use them, but they also are, to some salespeople. I mean, you've dealt with people. Some of the salespeople that you've dealt with can't seem to grasp Sandler or don't make sense of it or whatever it might be. What do you think that reason is?
I have dealt with salespeople that, and they're like, I don't like this Sandler. I don't like, this for any reason. And I'm just like, why? Well, I don't believe in it. What part don't you believe? There's not anything in here that's trying to coax you to do anything crazy. It's great reversal questions. It's getting to, find out what people are thinking in a way that doesn't, mess with their intelligence, I guess is what I would say. And, going through the classes, I mean, there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of information to take, and I'm constantly learning, and I don't know, every rule of the 51 rules, but I mean, I can kind of get there where you need to go. And then I can, reflect back and look at those things and have a resource to say, all right, this didn't go well. What could I have done differently? And I have something to look back on, versus, well, that just didn't work.
Right.
And I have no other option, Well, why didn't it work? All right, let's go through some questions of myself. What could I have done differently? Sandler teaches you to do that without even thinking about it.
Right.
So at least that's what I've experienced. And having new salespeople come on and just kind of getting them over that hump. It could be someone that's, been in sales forever and they've done, different types of sales training. And this isn't, completely far off. I just feel like it's just a real approach to things that are happening, and listening to some of the videos and things that this has been going on for how many years now, Tom? Sandler,
Oh, Sandler.
50 years.
Yeah, 50 years. Yeah.
Yeah, 50 years. I mean, it's a proven method that just makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Lafredo.
So Lafredo, we're a fresh foods company. So we primarily started out in the was it 1890s with a garden in South Des Moines, selling tomatoes and peppers out of the back of the truck, and just it has expanded and grown throughout the last 130 years. Been in business for a reason for a long time. We're not the cheapest in town either. So and I tell people we're 5 to 10% higher. Why do you think people would want to buy from us if we're 5 to 10% higher in a produce market? Which margins for us are very slim. We've expanded ourselves into some other markets, working with Omaha Steak Company, and then we also have a lot of higher end goods that some of the broadliners like a Cisco or a PFG, some nationwide brands, just can't offer. And we offer some service levels that nobody else can match. Kind of where we're at, and it's a great company. We're a family-run company. We're on our fifth generation of ownership, and the leadership has been outstanding. We've got some new changes. Change is always tough for people, but it's been a very welcome change. It's great to see how the company dynamics have changed from when I started. It was a little bit wild west when I started. It seems to be a little bit more structured now, but we still have a lot of fun.
That's good. Yeah, great company, been around forever in Wisconsin, Omaha, Kansas City.
Kansas, North Dakota, Minnesota now, South Dakota, and growing. So
yeah,
it's, work with we just acquired another company, a Lunchbox Foods company, working with a lot more ideas out there. And we've just launched a new application that makes it so simple and easy for our sales team and our customers to really interact, find products, and work with them so we can actually be more face to face with our customers. I had a customer, one of my restaurants was like, well, it seems like sales reps just always want to push this app stuff on you, and they don't want to work anymore. Really, it's not about that. It's about being able to come out and see you more. Now you're asking me a whole lot of questions where you can push a button, find an easy answer. I know we need to still have conversations, but this frees me up to go and actually sell, prospect, and get out and work with people. So when you have a great new system like our app that we had just launched, it's creating more sales for me. It's been great.
Yeah, and that's part of it, making it easier for the customer, even though the customer maybe at first balks at it. It's just so you know how old I am. I remember when we didn't have self-serve gas stations. That was a big thing, self-serve gas stations. You went and drove up and somebody pumped your gas for you. And I won't forget going to self-serve gas stations and people were going, oh, look how bad this is getting. I mean, you got to get out and pump your own gas and what have you. And I said, it's the greatest thing in the world because I don't want to talk to those people anyways. I want to get my gas and get out of here. So I'm happy, But
the only thing I liked about those non-self-serve ones when I was a kid, I could go in and get that 10-cent bottle of orange soda.
Yeah,
that was my favorite thing to do. Odin's gas station in Grand Forks, North Dakota. It was fantastic.
There you go. There's some history.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, Marco, this has been great. I really appreciate your time. I'm sure everybody's learned some stuff for it. So, any last statements before we get out of here?
Well, I just appreciate you having me on here, and then whatever you do, grab your collar, go back in, talk to somebody. And when you don't want to do it, just do it. You'll feel 10 times better.
I love it. And that's our show, How Did I Get Here? And great end of the show is, hey, when you find something you don't want to do it anyways. And that's how you get success. I mean, so keep at it. Well, Marco, once again, thank you so much. And I guess I'll probably be seeing you in about a month.
Yeah, I'll see you. I'll be talking to you next week, actually, probably. So.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, on the 13th. You guys will take care.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you.